Thanks to Zohar, you guys are in a good place. Um, so I think that's what I am aligned with as well. And I in this session, as we are going to talk about building a personal brand in sales. So we'll understand what does the personal brand means, how to build one, how one can start building and uh, towards it, and how it is beneficial to your overall profile. Uh, so this is some topics which we will cover on. I like to keep it interactive. Wherever you feel you have a question, you can buzz in, raise a hand, or ask the question directly by unmuting yourself. Uh, so the structure is going to look like I'll start presenting. I will go through some slides, then we'll have a poll, and then we will, kind of at the end of the slides, we'll head over to ask me anything. And I think that's how it will be structured. Sounds good? Okay. I'm presenting my screen. Let me know if you can see this. Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. So we'll dive deep without wasting any minute. Again, as we talked about, we will be discussing how to create a personal brand in sales. Uh, Before we start, I wanted to kind of give a disclaimer that personal brand is something which is not very necessary, very critical to do your job. It's an add-on. I mean, you can still be a great salesperson even if you don't have a personal brand. But having one is an unfair advantage. If you have one, it's a plus one. It's an add-on. So, I mean, first things first, we want to understand what is a personal brand. When we say this line, personal brand, what do we mean by that? So, again, as anybody these days would do, I went to ChatGPT and I asked, "What is personal brand?" So, this is totally coming from ChatGPT. Personal brand is where you is the process where people start perceiving you in a way depending on your social presence, depending on your social capital that you have built, depending on what kind of experiences that you share with people, and the kind of relationships you are able to build. So all of that combined creates a personal brand for yourself. Why do you need one? So that is, sorry, somebody was saying something. Okay. So why do you need a personal brand? Because I think this meme explains it beautifully that if you have a personal brand, if somebody has a personal brand, they have an extra edge over somebody who has equivalent qualification, equivalent skill sets, and everything equalized. If you have a personal brand, you get an extra edge into the market, in the industry, into the life as well. This is again basic human behavior. So I mean, you can see a lot of famous figures who created their own personal brands. And my hypothesis is there is somebody out there who is as much as good as them, but they fail to create their own personal brand. So they are not in the limelight. They are not perceived as leaders. They're not perceived as somebody who is the subject matter expert. So why do you need a personal brand is, we'll talk one by one. So what I, am really bullish about is building your social capital. When you build your social capital, in bracket, I've written familiar face, kind of start becoming the familiar face in the industry, in the market, in the, uh, product that you're selling, the problem that you're solving. And when you become that familiar face, it's very, very easy to trust you. It becomes I mean, the resistance becomes almost zero because you're a familiar face to them. They have seen you somewhere. They have written, they've read some of your written work. They have appreciated something. They have found something very relevant that strike the right chord for them. And I think that's where the whole goal of personal branding is, that you become a familiar face to everybody. It also helps in your networking. Again, all of these things will overlap. Networking, job opportunities, lead generations, creating your own safety net. Imagine there was a layoff of 20 people from a company, all of them really good, great SDRs. Who do you think will get the job first? Somebody who had been working on the personal brand. given everything other is equal, like they are equally skilled, they are have achieved their target equally, they understand the product equally, the learning curve is equal, all of those factors, if hypothetically kept equal, the first person to get a job would be somebody who has created their own personal brand. So that's like a safety net for whole of your life, not just for the career. So I think that's where the criticalness of personal brand comes in. For example, I wanted to show a real example, which is the most top performing post for me, garnered about close to 2 lakh impressions, and resulted into, let's say, 25 to 30 opportunities coming directly into my inbox. And the recent job that I am doing is also something which came to me, I didn't apply. So when you're able to create that kind of a motion for yourself, things become really really easy for you. Because I mean, what I had to do, I just had to go and did a did a post. People came in, people commented, people showed this support, and it all created a ripple effect, and right people found me, right opportunities found me. Enough about me. I want to give you a scenario where you see this happening in real life. Like, imagine yourself as a founder or a recruiter. When founders or recruiters are trying to recruit somebody, I mean, again, everybody wants to recruit exceptional people, everybody wants that elite guy coming into that into their company and changing things. But there is a whole crowd out there which is which is again, which makes for them, which makes their job really really difficult to spot who they are looking for. Let's say, I mean, again, as this meme explains, if they posted a job for an SDR, 753 people applied, how do they kind of figure out which one is the right person for it? They start rejecting on parameters which sometimes are very are not into critical thinking. Like, you don't have a SaaS experience, go out. You don't have a 2 years plus experience, go out. You don't have an experience in North America market, go out. You don't have such and so skill mentioned in your resume, go out. Something like that. So but that again is frustrating for founders and recruiters as well, because they have to process all of these profiles. So normally what happens is, generally somebody who has a personal brand kind of sneaks through, and all the other people kind of keep waiting in the line. That is what I have seen practically happening. So I'll show you a very, very real example which happened right before my eyes. So it could be like somebody is in the final stage of internet interview, and but somebody who sneaks through, they have created trust using their personal brand. They might get the job, but the person who had cleared all the stages might not. These kind of strange things happen. So again, a very real use case. We wanted to hire somebody who can handle social media for us. We put out posts out there. We, were sourcing leads. We sourcing leads through YC portal, sourcing leads through LinkedIn, everywhere. We did about 20 plus interviews. Uh, Something or the other was missing uh, in any in everybody which we whom we were interviewing, and that was again becoming frust- frustrating for us, because we were investing our time on it. We were lacking behind on our original work that we wanted to do, and we were still not getting the right person, right? But I came across this post on LinkedIn. Somebody posted this post. It just said, a very basic post that, I've done 3 years at Paperflight, and, I'm leaving Paperflight. And what I'm looking towards is social media, brand content, creative copy. If anybody knows, to hire, please send them in my way. Very, very simple post, very generic post. Nothing very creative here, right? But curious enough, I went into the comments of the post, and this is what came out. I'll just give you guys 10 seconds to go through these comments. So as you are reading it, it might have been creating a perception of this person in your brain that, man, she's good. A lot of people are rooting for her. Founders of the past company are rooting. The founders who she has worked for, some random project or volunteered for something, are rooting because of it. Influencers in the market who are into the content business are rooting for her. Somebody's saying that they wish that they could have hired her. So it suddenly makes you feel like, creates a FOMO that I should not miss on this candidate. She must be doing something right, that people are talking about her. So I ran to my founder. I went, I took the LinkedIn post link, pasted it on, Slack channel, our Slack conversation, told them, that she looks like a good asset. He said, I'll reach out to her, and fast forward, this happened. And she's no other but our own brand and content person at Storylane. She's doing amazing job here, and we really loved her into the interview process as well. But going backwards, what helped her to stand out was her own personal brand and the community that she has built around. So I think that's where we understand that personal brand is very, very necessary and critical. Now we'll pause for the quick poll. Uh, if you guys can see my screen, go to slido.com and they'll ask you to enter this code. You can enter it on your phone, laptop, whatever device you are on. And I will, okay, the poll is activated. I would love to, hear from you guys. It's anonymous. If, nobody needs to know what you have answered. I just need to know how the crowd is looking like. If you've, felt the need to create a personal brand, if you're just starting out, if you think, you're good without a personal brand, wherever you are, answer honestly. I'll just take like 1 minute. We'll take a 1 minute pause. Let you guys, go to slido.com, enter this code, and yeah. Okay, somebody has voted. Okay, there's one vote. Okay, this is really cool. We will see, actually the momentum shifting. Again, as it's anonymous, there's no need to hide whatever you have felt about it. Just trying to get a feel of the environment. Okay. We're shifting more towards people have always been thinking about creating a personal brand. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, I think people are still voting. I'll just wait a few more seconds. You can go to slido.com, enter this code, vote in the poll. Okay, 13 people have voted till now. 14. Okay, I think we are starting to get an idea that most of the people have been thinking about, there is a need to create a personal brand. And some people have recently, started to wonder that, we should have a personal brand. We should, move towards it. So I think that validates the need of this session. And we would jump back to the session. We would love to, I would love to help you guys out to understand how to create a personal brand. What are the challenges? Till now, we have talked about uh, why it is needed, why, personal brand is critical for your growth. So, you might be saying that, okay, we understand that building a personal brand is important, but tell us how. how is the part right? Which, that's why you're here for. So I think, when I was creating this presentation, I had conflicting thoughts how to, structure it in a way where I could clearly show you what a personal brand means. So I've divided it into, some categories. Your personal brand is a combination of generic personal professional content that you put out, generic personal professional people that you meet, generic personal professional spaces that you are in. So all of these mixed is an aggregated personal brand for you. And we'll understand more on this in the later slides. Anybody till now has any confusion, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Or even, better, you can go to slido.com, enter this code. I'll deactivate the poll. You will see a question. You'll see an ability to put down questions anonymously again. And at the end of the AMA session, or right now, we'll pick it up. The code is 4539470. Slido.com. Okay. We'll jump back. Cool. So I talked about generic, personal, and professional. A combination of these will be our personal brand. But in today's world, where we are pretty much online, social media savvy, this personal brand exists in a hybrid mode, which is online plus offline. What do I mean about that? Online could be platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, online communities that you can be a part of. Offline could be meetups and mixtures that keep happening, conferences that happen, and offline communities. Whenever the community is meeting offline, it could be a formal or informal space. Let's talk about online space first. When I say online, I mean LinkedIn, Twitter, and online communities predominantly. And I think, on LinkedIn, how to, create that personal brand for yourself is the very basic tip that I give everybody is start by whatever you know. In bracket says SME, subject matter expert. So whatever it could be your prospecting skills, it could be the challenges that you face, it could be the product that you are selling, it could be the industry that you are selling into, it could be the pain points of the persona that you're targeting. So whatever just start with that. Low hanging fruits. It's super easy. Start talking about that. Start building relevant connections. Start engaging into those kind of relevant posts and everything. So LinkedIn, I think you're pretty sorted by this first block where where whatever you're the subject matter expert. One of my manager early in my job told me that the customer doesn't know more than you. It's true when you are a really good salesman because you have to understand your customer, your industry, your pain point, and the technology that you're selling really well. What somebody is saying? Okay, noise only. So you have to really understand that in order for this phrase to be true, the customer knows less than you. And when customer knows less than you have an upper hand. You have an upper hand to explain, to come across as a subject matter expert, to establish that trust that this guy knows his shit. So that's where you come across. Somebody is unmute, I think. Can you please mute yourself if you're not asking anything? Thanks a lot. Another kind of post or content that you can put out is shout outs and appreciations. So it's more like scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, but in a good way. If done in a good authentic sense, you are really appreciating your peers, your colleagues, your managers, anyone in the industry that you follow, anyone who told you really good things, anyone who helped you in something where you were stuck. Give them a shout out, be more public about it. World is getting more and more closed. People are becoming more self-centered. So if you come across as somebody who appreciates other people, their qualities, and is really thankful for that, so I think that creates again a ripple effect where people see somebody who kind of is full of positive energy. And that really matters when people are looking for their future colleague, partner, founder, co-founder, and things like that. So if you're into shout outs and appreciation, that builds you again your social capital. Storytelling is very, very crucial these days. If you know how to tell a story, if you know how to tell whatever has happened with you or whatever has you have experienced, and in a beautiful manner, that's where you sorted. Storytelling does not come very easily. I mean, not everybody is born, a storyteller. Some people are really, really great at storytelling, gripping stories where they will, make you cry at the end, even. So, but we have to believe that we will get there one day, but we have to start from right away. And storytelling, everybody in their own lives does that. You went to a shopping mall, something happened, you come at home, you tell that story to your parents. Storytelling again. So storytelling is inside of you. Storytelling has been, throughout the generations, and we should be doing it, replicating it into our, work of line, where we're storytelling about salesy stuff. Like we're storytelling about the market, how's changing, the market sentiment, storytelling about the pain points that customers might face, storytelling about um myths around certain thing, pros and cons, something like that. You might be seeing generic personal professional again. We'll touch back on this in detail. Let's move to unpopular opinions. So unpopular opinions are a good way for you to stand out of the crowd. So whatever you feel, there's a herd mentality going on. So people are talking about something, people are following something or believing something which you think you have a different perspective. And that fresh perspective, when you bring on the table, when you are confident and vulnerable about it, when you put yourself out there, again, it might backfire. It might, create a sense that, this guy is onto something. So when you're talking about unpopular opinions, again, little risky, little, experimentative in nature. But if you truly, truly break this, you create a personality of yourself, which, other people would want to, know more of. And then, comes fun and memes. As you know, Elon Musk will say, whoever controls the memes controls the universe. So I think, people should also good become really good at, having some fun, having some, generic content which is not related to work, not related to anything professional, just, for on a lighter note. Or you can be even better, you can confirm your professional content in a funny way. That's the best out there. So let's see, I told you, we'll dive deep on generic personal and professional content on LinkedIn. Personal content looks something like this, for example. Personal content, let's say I'm talking about how being in sales has helped me see things, from the other side of the table, my experience, whatever, I do currently, even I get sales email and things like that. I'm talking about personal stuff. Personal feelings are coming out. I'm being vulnerable. I'm telling people that, this is what I feel. Then, again, this is more on the shout out, appreciation kind of line. But I'm just telling the world that I really admire this person, and, I've so much to learn from him. And the product that he's building, really cool product. You can also try it. Something like that builds a rapport in the industry. These are personal products, personal posts. Professional posts. Where professional posts, when I say, I mean, when you're talking about the product or service or the company that you're working at. So it could be, as I'm talking about one of our customers, how they're using our product, talking about customer case studies and things like that. So this is again professional content. I need to do this because I need to keep that vibe going on that I'm selling this product. I need to remind them subconsciously that, hey, use us, buy from us. We are something which you should evaluate. So this is again on the evangelism of our professional content. Generic content, again, memes, experiments, uh, funny stuff. Once in a while, I do it very less, but it's just good to see, somebody who's been doing a lot of personal and professional content, taking a chill pill, basically, because LinkedIn is full of gyan, and a lot of times we don't need gyan. When I say generic content, I don't mean cringy stuff where you might be posting a video of two dogs playing with each other. I mean, that could be done as well, but you really, really need to find your own personality, because in the whole process of personal building a personal brand, the dark thing that happens is that a lot of times you start chasing the dopamine, you start chasing that high, and you forget what you really wanted to communicate. But you instead go on to the likes and comments and again, all of that. So that's, again, my 2 cents on that. Twitter, I have no clue. I am still figuring it out. I'm experimenting with it. Twitter is a good place, but I think LinkedIn has a more curated environment for salespeople, especially. Your ICPs are clearly visible here. Your prospects are hanging out. Your competitors are also sharing their news, their intel. So I think LinkedIn is a good place, but nonetheless, we should. I mean, I always believe in omni-channel presence, where you should also see what is happening on Twitter, what is happening on Reddit. How can I generate lead from there? So again, not very effective, but you have to figure out what is working well for you. Twitter might work well for somebody else. Reddit might work for somebody else, and LinkedIn might work for somebody else. So these are again variables. Coming to community, online communities. So there are a couple of WhatsApp communities. I'll probably send these links to Richa or Rahul, or they might even have it to share with you guys. You guys can join these. These have a lot of engaging discussions. For example, this is such an engaging group that I don't even want to open it. Loads of conversations happening, but gems of conversation. If I can follow up each and every day. So you build that network, you build that. I mean, why I've brought community into this picture is because when you're building your personal brand, it just doesn't mean that you're posting content, you are beating your own drum. It also means helping people and coming across as somebody who is an active member of that community. So that's where people kind of uplift you without you even asking. So this is what happens when you engage in a community, solve somebody's problem without asking anything from it, without not without having anything to gain. So that's where I think community comes in picture. Some WhatsApp communities, some Slack communities, and this one is not in Slack but on an app. Uh, I'll let you guys read through, take a picture, take notes. We'll send across links, post this. So you should check these out. One thing is, don't just join any community for the sake of it. I've done that. I've been there. Some communities I'm pretty inactive because I feel the content is too much or not relevant to me, or I'm not able to create my own personal brand there. But whatever ticks you, wherever you find your people, wherever you find your tribe, go there, engage, be happy. Coming to offline part of it, I'll just take a pause and ask if anybody has any question. You can also, again, as I said, go there and post your question, or you can unmute, or you can put on your chat, meet chat, whatever works. Okay, we'll jump back in.
Hi Harsh, can you hear me? I'm sorry to interrupt. I have one question about connecting with people offline,
Mhm.
uh, meetups and mixers. So, have you been recently engaged with any kind of meetups and mixers specifically for those professions who are looking for a transition from a non-SaaS background to a SaaS industry? If you could help me with certain resources or any kind of source way through which I can connect with people in that manner, it'd be great.
So Ashish, I mean, we are yet to discuss offline part of it. We'll cover this. Thanks for putting that out. Till this point where we had discussed the criticalness of building a personal brand, where we have discussed how to, build a personal brand and things about it on LinkedIn and on the online front of it. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer. Okay, we'll jump back. We'll cover offline. So as Ashish was asking, these offline meetups and mixtures, any conferences or any offline community meetups, whatever is happening, or any offline communities that might exist. So I think, again, even though we are very bullish on online, we are always present on our phones, scrolling and posting and liking and interacting with people. Offline is something which I recently have figured out that builds those connections like never before, builds those connections, those reputation, those relationships in a way. I mean, again, there's a human touch to it. You're hearing the voice, you're interacting, you're laughing. You might, give out something which they wanted. They might give out something which you wanted, and then kind of knowledge exchange and the whole vibe, kind of creates this atmosphere where you get to learn, get to network for life, get to have that unfair advantage, as we say. So I understand it's not possible for everybody to go into these meetups and mixes because you have to be at the right place at the right time. This might be happening in Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai. Not everybody is in metropolitan city, or don't have access to these kind of forums. But wherever you can, go go into these meetups, meet new people, engage with them, be curious. And I think when you're bringing an online plus offline presence in that hybrid mode, that personal brand only accelerates because people put a face to the name. People see, okay, this guy was talking about so and so stuff on online. He's really good about talking it to me as well. I have been able to ask this question. That kind of personal, touch comes in. One other tip is, if you live around some area where it's not close to any metropolitan city or any event that is happening, I advise you try and find people around you, maybe in a diameter of 50 kilometer, maybe travel, meet people for lunch, understand what they're thinking about, what they're working on. So meetups and mixtures, like I run this company called Unfair Advantage. We also do, brunches once in a month where we meet on a Saturday afternoon. We talk about a lot of things. We exchange thoughts. And if anybody is curious, I mean, recently we've started. Initially, it was only for the community. Recently, we've started opening it up for the public as well. We keep doing posts about this, so keep an eye whenever it's happening. Do drop by if you're in Bangalore. We're trying to conduct this in other places as well. And I think uh, Zohart also has a community of its own, alumni, mentors, and everything. So you guys can also collaborate, create a meetup of your own in nearby areas and do meet. And talking about mixtures are usually, some, let's say, some company, for example, in this example, Topline was arranging this mixture, Topline and GrowthX. So go into these mixtures as well, because the intention is to bring people together under one roof of different background, different, skill sets. So you get to learn a lot. Conferences, I was lucky enough to, go on to a conference from my previous company. But if your company is not sending you into a conference, or they're not participating at all, I think the second example works really, really great. This guy went to G2 India Summit. He even didn't have a work email ID because he didn't have a job at that time. He traveled all the way from Pune to Mumbai, talked his way through the gates. Again, we are salespeople. We should learn to sell ourselves as well. He figured out a way to enter into this event. He went to the event, met a lot of people, and then fast forward, I know he landed a job out of that. So even if you're getting something out of that and not getting something out of that, you're always getting experience, an experience which you might have not gotten if you have not gone into it. So offline community, I mean, this is something which I have been recently experimenting with. I have started opening up my house for these offline community parties where I mean, there's no learning agenda, nothing. You just have to network, you have to have fun, eat, drink, and laugh. So these kind of offline community events also happen. last week, Hyperverge, there is a company called Hyperverge. They also, did an event on BDR meetup in Bangalore. So wherever, these kind of offline meetups or gatherings are happening, keep an eye out, ask people or arrange one. This also helps into your personal branding. Okay. So this is again how to build a personal brand. Now we will, jump onto the topic, the challenges that you might face while building your personal brand, because it's not an easy road. It's not a road that you can just start right away and you will start getting results. It takes sometimes months, years, and depending on if you're at the right place at the right time with the right luck, it could be you know even much shorter for you. But you have to start somewhere and you have to start now. So challenges could be like you could face less engagement. You could see less engagement coming out. You made a post, only one like. You made a post which was heavily researched, but people are not understanding it. You made a post which, or you made a content or a unpopular opinion which kind of backfired. All of that will happen. You'll have trouble standing out because there are lots of people talking about the same thing. How do you create your own unique persona is again related to this point, that you'll have difficulty understanding your own personality. When I say this, I mean not how you perceive yourself, but how people start perceiving you with your content and your actions and your engagements. So all of these challenges will come into the picture. You'll have difficulty with content ideas. You'll have demotivation. There will be inconsistency kicking in. I have been posting, on LinkedIn or engaging in these forums since last 3-4 years, but still date. I mean, it could be a month where I don't do anything because again, inconsistency, demotivation kicks in. We are humans. It happens to us. But we have to again overcome these challenges to create that personal brand if we are, a little serious about that. So how to overcome these challenges? You can start by posting, creating this habit of doing one post a day. You understand what is working well for you. You experiment a lot. You switch from long content to short content to video content to image content to meme content and to shout outs and appreciations, as we talked about. And one thing which I really push for is be your authentic self, because it's personal brand that we're talking about. It's not a communal brand that we are talking about here. So if you're not authentic with yourself, if you're not talking about what you really feel or what you really want to say, you will never be able to bring out that edge in your content or in the way you speak or the way you talk, the way you show yourself. So I think being authentic self helps when you're building your personal brand. I've seen a lot of people build a really great personal brand and not be authentic at all. That also works in this today's world. I've seen that. But why would you want that? Because at the end, you have to be at peace with yourself. And if you really start enjoying, you really start feeling gratitude for whatever the people are complimenting you because you built that personal brand being your authentic self, I think, that'll be it. So I think, I'll just take a pause. I'll say something which really excites me. So you guys should do more of what brings light into your eyes. Like it makes your light eyes spark. So whatever that is, bring that energy, bring that motivation, bring that authentic self into your content. Start engaging into meaningful conversations. It could be comments, reposts, giving a perspective in personal messages. If you're not confident enough to post it on public or public forum, you can try contacting the person in personal messages and understanding that, hey, you said about this and this. I always thought this was like this. How do you think this has changed into this? Something like that. You start engaging with people, start understanding why they said what they said. If you are not able to grasp something like, or if you have a different perspective to it. So all of these meaningful conversations, genuine conversations that you will create will again add on to your personal brand. They will understand, okay, let's say Harsh is a funny guy. Harsh is a guy who's all over the place. Harsh is a very social guy. He's always ready to help. How I have been able to manifest this perception in my network, in my people who are at the other end of my personal brand is by engaging with them, by letting them know that I am like this. And then again, GPT-3 helps with every problem these days. So this is again a very serious advice. If you're struggling to create content, go on to GPT-3, create some content, put that out there. Then slowly and slowly start tweaking things. Start being your authentic self. Start, adding your own mirch and masala. So that's how you'll figure out what works well for you. Some people, I mean, I had loads of people in my mind, top of my head, whoever I could remember, I've put down here. Some people I admire who have been building their personal brand authentically and very smartly, and they have been helpful to the community. They have a good repo in the community, and they've generated leads, created safety net, landed jobs, all of that from their personal brand. You guys can take a screenshot, take a photo, follow these guys over LinkedIn, let them know that you found them through this session, or you want to understand how to make the personal brand. They will offer you some tips. It'll be constructive only. I think that marks the end of the presentation. I am giving here I mean, again, in the spirit of being a salesman, an opportunity for you guys to connect with me, and I would love to connect with you guys. You guys can simply scan this QR code and get connected to me. I'll just wait 10 seconds here, uh, because I want you guys to come back and ask me questions that, hey, Harsh, I started doing this, but I'm struggling into this. So what could be the tips for it? And I'm, again, happy to help however fast as I can.
Guys, any question, anybody? This is a very good opportunity, and no question is dumb, trust me. So feel free to ask.
Okay, so there are,
Yeah, hi. Am I audible, Harsh?
yeah, yeah.
Hi, Harsh. This is Arvinda here. I've
Mm,
also sent you a connection request on LinkedIn, by the way.
okay.
Wonderful session, Harsh. Because yes, building a brand, I have been looking at it. I've been trying to do it for the past some time, and I've started writing posts on LinkedIn as well. See,
Mm-hmm.
yes, the one place where I felt little bit demotivated, if I can use the word, is that on a part, during the initial stages when you post the first three, four contents, our friends motivate us, appreciate us. But then after that, what happens automatically when it comes to 10, 15th post,
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing a little bit dip in terms of that reach that we are expecting that is not happening. So is
Mm-hmm.
it normal? How to face this? Not achieving the expected growth of the initial stages, or when will this happen? What is the key factor to actually build a brand in terms of LinkedIn or whatever social platform is maybe?
Sure. So I'll give you an answer which might disappoint you, but it's a very generic advice that uh, I think everybody needs to figure out their own way to scale it up. Uh, I've seen people, getting to 50,000 followers and really great reach within 6 months or a year. I, for the other hand, have scaled up to 11,000 followers in the last 6 7 years. I've been using it from college, and it had been really really hard to build that. Even though I was being authentic self, I was trying to provide value and was very social. So I think this is something which even I have faced, where the reach goes down, you start feeling demotivated, the content is not working anymore. And I think the my best advice is just keep it at there, keep experimenting. Sometimes these communities that you will join will have channels like shameless promotion, uh, kind of channels where you can plug your content, or you can ask and initiate a discussion and plug your LinkedIn post that hey guys, I've started this discussion, would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're truly into giving value to people, they would come onto your content, keep following you, and wait for the next content to come out. So yeah, I think that will help.
Okay, thank you. I've even asked this question on Slido. It
Mhm.
is regarding those communities that you actually and told me about regarding that sales information, something like that. I missed out at that particular part. Is that LinkedIn community?
So I mean, there are WhatsApp communities present on WhatsApp and Slack. There's one other
Okay.
community which is not present on Slack or WhatsApp. I'll again, as I said, I'll pass along all the links to Richa. She will share across internally.
That
And
would be useful. That would be
probably email you guys whatever is the best way to share across.
please
And
do.
yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harsh.
Sure.
Hello, Harsh.
Yeah. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Archit. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was really a great session. Okay, so my question is what a SDR do in a day? Like what the work you do from morning till your office time, like how it's going, and like want to know more about what a SDR do in their life.
Sure. So I think, if I reframe your question, so it's more about understanding what a day-to-day in SDR's role, looks like. Currently, I'm into founder's office. It's a little bit different functional role where I do a little part of SDR work, but not the whole. But when I was SDR, the day to day would look like somewhere understanding it would start from understanding how my accounts are doing, because we used to do account based conversion. We have to check each account's health, if we are getting into a meeting or not, if the prospect is ghosting, if we are doing the things right way, if we have enough research on that account and things like that. So a hygiene check is something from where we'll start. List down the task for the day, and these tasks, again, because the main job was prospecting, would include, let's say, LinkedIn reach outs, creating content, email reach outs, email follow ups, giving somebody a cold call. And this is how I think the day ended for each one of us. The whole thing is like that. So that hustle keeps going on, where we are targeting people day in and day out, building that relationship, building that momentum. And the day kind of ends with a retrospection. I mean, we used to have these calls with our managers. So what did we do the whole day? What went well? What went wrong? What did we learn? So all of these things help you keep the momentum, because an SDR job is very, very monotonous. It's sometimes gets very boring, very frustrating also, and it's a stressful job. So if you have a proper flow in place, if you have something which excites you, gives you energy, so I think that's how you'll be able to do this job. And when you start feeling that thrill, it's a high, like nothing else. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and one more question.
Sure.
Okay, so what are the most common failure SDR will face in their starting journey or maybe in later? Like what are the most common failures that have to face?
Most common failures, I think, not having enough patience is something which leads to most common failures, because again, this is a journey where you have to understand what is working well for you, even if this is the product that you want to sell, or it's easy for you to sell. A lot of people would say that I can sell anything, or I just need a job, I'll sell anything. But what I have felt is that there needs to be a synergy between you and the product and the industry, so that you can sell better. If selling becomes easier for you, that's when you're selling the right thing. And I mean, again, when I say easy, it's not always, the grass is not always green. But yeah, let's say I can sell a product better than B product, so I should sell a product better, because there is somebody who can sell B product better also. So yeah, we have to pick our fights.
Okay, thank you.
um, we'll go to these two questions as well. How can I build connections in Twitter? It's very hard to get followers there. Absolutely, I second you on that, and that's why I said I am also figuring out Twitter. And I think Twitter works on a lot of consistent posting within a day. Like you can do 2 to 3 tweets every day, engaging with other people's tweet, saying something meaningful there, so that people kind of come onto your profile, see you as a thought leader, or as a person who had a great opinion on something. And I think slowly and slowly that's bound to happen. But again, I'm not the best person to answer this, so I'll take a break here. Another question is, my question is, what are the benefits of personal branding? I think we covered the benefits of personal branding, where we talked about, it's kind of like a safety net for you, which helps you get jobs, which helps you get opportunities, which puts you front of other people in a crowd. And I think that's where the personal brand helps, whether it is lead generation, whether it is, generating the leads for your own job, and whether it is getting a pay hike or a promotion, the personal brand plays a role. Any other questions, guys? I'm all yours. Sandeepan, yeah, please do.
Hi Harsh, how are you?
Hey, hi, Sandeepan. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. So I had this one question. It's been 2 3 months. I'm uploading contents on geopolitics or sometimes on marketing strategies. So
Hmm.
my question will be should I continue with uploading these sort of contents, or should I shift and upload contents on sales maybe, or regarding this market which I'm trying to enter, like in the upcoming 3 to 4 months maybe?
Sorry, you have to tell me what kind of content are you posting currently?
Currently, I'm posting contents on geopolitics and marketing strategies, which, for example, how Bisleri, made 7,000 crores, or maybe how, what are the marketing strategies of Paperboat, this sort of contents.
Okay. So I think, if you're not going into that industry, let's say into a marketing agency or a marketing, selling a marketing product or selling a product which is something related to geopolitics, I would classify these kind of contents into a generic bucket, right? These are not your personal experiences. These are not your professional products or services that you're selling. So when you create a lot of generic content resonates well with common folks. It can resonate with anybody from any demographic, any industry, and I think that gives you an edge to reach a lot of people. But in the longer run, if you understand that this is the market that I have to work in, or I have to uh, come across as a subject matter expert for this market or industry or a pain point, so I think I would advise you to shift your content strategy towards that, because then people will only perceive you as the person who keeps delivering generic information, which is not relevant in their day-to-day job. Might be relevant in their general knowledge, but not in their day-to-day job. So that's where I would advise.
Thank you so much, Harsh.
Sure. Anyone else? I think we don't have any much questions, right, guys?
Yep.
Hi, Harsh. This is Kitna. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so how can so I'm new to marketing and or sales. So how can I increase my knowledge in sales or marketing? So can you suggest me some things to do in a daily basis so that I can increase my knowledge in that?
Sure. A very easy way to do it is follow people who keep posting, sales content where they're talking about their prospecting challenges, talking about their day-to-day experience, talking about what failures and success they had. Also, to understand the terminologies. If you're coming into the sales world or marketing world from a different background, one thing which really scares people off is the terminology. If somebody really starts talking about ACV, ARR, churn rate and things like that. So you have to talk their language to be really comfortable in your own skin while learning about sales and marketing. And then I would say ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions to a lot of people wherever, again, as Richard said, there is no such thing as a dumb question. When I started my SDR career, I didn't know that there was a pattern to email IDs, that there was a first name dot last name at the rate some company.com, or first name, last letter of the last name, something like that. There were patterns of email IDs. I figured that out, and it was mind blowing for me. I always thought, email IDs were generated randomly or something like that. So there would be things which you would learn each and every day. And I think, it just depends on the frequency and the persistence in you to ask those questions, to read about the blogs, to watch podcasts, to follow the right people. There are even books which I can suggest, you can read. You can DM me, I'll send across some leads. Uh, so I think, eventually you'll start figuring out what content is helping you, and you'll figure out something new. You'll try that in your day-to-day job, and that'll sometimes 10 out of 1 out of 10 times that'll work, and you'll stick on that and you'll double down on that, and that'll become your niche. That'll become how you prospect. That'll become how you talk to prospects. That'll become how you create that success for yourself. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Harsh. I'll
Sure.
I believe no more questions. Anyone, sir? Anyone? Sorry, what's wrong? Perfect. I think, Harsh, that's it. Uh, Drop in your LinkedIn ID if not already, and I think everybody can connect. Guys, in case you have any questions later on, feel free to ping anybody from Zoho team or Harsh directly. And thank you so much, Harsh. It was a really great session. Loved how you brought up like real life examples for everybody to understand better. So yeah, really great session. Thank you.
Sure. Happy to help. Thanks for the opportunity. Bye, guys. Um,
Somebody's
yeah, I'll send across, these things to Rita, and probably she'll pass you on.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Bye.
everybody for joining. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.